How's everybody doing today? Hope you all had a great holiday. Continue to have one. Hate to see you have to work here for a couple hours. But, we got everyone back safely yesterday afternoon. Had a good practice yesterday inside, in pads. Try to get the players to sort of work the kinks out of being off for a few days, and really went better than I anticipated in terms of picking up where we left off. And on the last practice, we did quite a bit of team stuff. We really didn't do a scrimmage, but we really kind of did a lot of move the field. Players play the game on their own, trying to thud and get ourselves into position to tackle. And I thought that went fairly well. And, everybody got a few days off, and we were glad to get everybody back last night. Today we sort of try to vary the practices in terms of what we do, so we're not doing the same thing every day. So we usually go 2 days in pads and 1 day in shells. So we had gone the last day in pads and the first day back in pads, so today was a shell day. Sort of like what we'd do on a Monday, of a game week. A lot of 7-on-7, cut down on the hitting a little bit. A lot of assignment work. So that's really what we did today, and I thought it went well today. Do some heavy running today and try to, improve on our conditioning. It was a little chilly out, but I think that every day we get the opportunity that the fields are dry enough and we can go outside. I think since we're playing outside, we need to try to do that, especially in the kicking game, which we worked a lot on the kicking game today. So I think that we got a lot accomplished. From an injury standpoint, James Carpenter is not injured. He's just sick. He's got the flu, so we held him out today. He did practice last night. Marquise has a combination of two things. He's sick, but he hurt his thumb the last practice that we had. It's in a cast. He did practice some today. He will be able to practice when it settles down, and he should be able to play in the game. So we don't have any issues there. Right. Well, we really liked his speed and explosiveness as a high school player, and he's one of the guys, as soon as we got here, we immediately started to recruit. And I think he had sort of been committed someplace else, and we felt fortunate to get him interested enough to come on a visit. And I think that he has gotten better and better each year, and he certainly had a very good year this year, made a lot of big plays, and has explosive speed and ability to run after the catch. And his toughness that he plays with, he's turned out to be a good special teams player for us. We haven't had to use him in a return game. I think that's something he might be able to do in the future. So we're really pleased with his progress. And most of it is just maturing into being a player at a position that he didn't really play when he was in high school. So and those guys usually it takes a little more time, and we certainly have never been disappointed in his progress. But last year he made a significant contribution, and this year he built on that and actually improved dramatically in terms of what he was able to do in terms of his consistency, not only as a playmaker, but he's turned out to be a pretty good blocker for his size and plays with a lot of toughness.
Just want to ask you if you could assess James Carpenter, the way he has played this season, the way he's stepped in at left tackle.
Well, he's done extremely well. He's really done a good job for us. I think playing alongside Mike Johnson certainly enhanced his development and his confidence, because initially it was what to do. Then he learned how to do it, but then he got a lot more confident in why we needed to do it that way, because he's playing alongside a guy that was very experienced and a good player and made most of the calls, and I think that really enhanced his development. But he has done a really, really good job all year long. He played well in the beginning of the season, and he did nothing but get better and better as the year went on. So it was someone who we needed to really come through for us this year, and I'd say that he did a fantastic job for us.
And if you could just kind of talk about the role that the safeties will play as far as containing McCoy when he may decide to take off with the ball.
Well, the safeties are not necessarily responsible for McCoy when he takes off with the ball. I mean, everybody's got an assignment each time on defense. They run, zone option where he pulls the ball sometimes. They run quarterback counters. They run quarterback draws. And I think that the fact that they're such a good passing team, and he's such a good passer, and they have very good passing efficiency and all that they do, they're a very good third down team. They force you to really try to play more where you're covering the receivers. So now you have less people in the box, which makes it more difficult to defend quarterback runs. And I think that's one of the things that he has as much speed as any quarterback that we played against all year. And I think we're going to have to be very disciplined, especially up front in the front seven, of making sure that our eye control and our keying is very disciplined so that we have the right guys in the right places when he decides to run the ball. Because you are a little bit spread out with the kind of offense that they run.
Coach, with James being sick and Drew was sick last week, is this a concern that it's going to make the way around the team like it did early in the season? Are you taking the same precautions?
Well, we're taking the precautions, but I don't think this is the same kind of contagious type, stuff that we had before. But we're certainly taking the precautions because we don't want to continue to get guys sick, on the team. I think this may be just more, the weather, in and out, that type of thing. We don't feel like we have an issue right now, and we're hopeful that we won't have one in the future.
Is there anything new with the appeal to get the travel reimbursements?
I don't. Not to this point.
Coach, kind of an off-the-wall question, but was Bob Stoops in town on the 23rd for that last practice before the holidays?
Why is that off the wall? I mean, you just hate to ask it.
Because it's not about Alabama's team.
Well, we have our practices are not open to the public, but during this time we've had numerous coaches from a lot of different places, come to practice. When, we got together in the summer, he said that he wanted to come to practice sometime, and they got here right before practice. They watched the practice organization, they watched practice, and they left. We didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time, or talk much. We had a Christmas party right after that for the staff here, and but yeah, they were here. But I think you know that. I mean, it's been on the radio. It's been.
I probably wouldn't ask you if I didn't.
But... Well, I guess you had to make me say it, huh? But they asked if they could come. They had finished practice. They wanted to watch practice organization, and they did that.
And also with the news at Florida the last couple of days, as a coach, when you are dealing with stress, as it may affect your health, have you learned to take certain precautions to try to?
My motivation is I figure I can work here and take the stretch here, all right, or I can retire and go home and work for Terry and take the stretch there. So far I've been trying to, keep my day job so I don't have to, because I would be working just as hard at home. So that's kind of my motivation. I don't really feel like I have an out right now, so I'm willing to hang in there. But I will say this, that I think that college football is a lot better off with people like Urban Meyer in our profession. He's a true professional in what he does. He's done a fantastic job every place he's been, and he does it with a lot of dignity and class and professionalism. And we not only have a lot of respect for him as a person, but also the wonderful job that he's done everywhere he's been, and especially at the University of Florida. So, we're also very mindful and concerned that, he doesn't have a health issue that's going to affect his future. And our thoughts and prayers are with his family, and in terms of making sure that he takes care of himself so that he doesn't have issues in the future relative to his health.
Coach, I know
Well, I mean, they're very good at kickoff return. I think they've had three for touchdowns this year, maybe more, but three that I can remember that and watching the tape. And I think it's we have covered kicks well when we've been disciplined in what we're supposed to do, reading the indicators, dodging the blocks the right way, and fitting it the right way. And I think that's going to be important for us to do again because we face some good returners, but they actually have two good returners, not one, both very fast, and both guys are capable of making big plays on kickoff returns. So it's going to be a real challenge for our kick coverage to do the right things, be in the right place, dodge the blocks the right way, fit the wedge the right way, and overlap and keep the ball in front like we need to be able to have good kickoff coverage. Well, I think the nature of his position is not one where you would have a significant amount of production in terms of he's an interior player. He plays nose guard or usually plays on the center or just off the center, in the A gap. And I think the value that he creates for us is, first of all, he's very difficult to block. Most of the time they got to use two blockers on him, which means that somebody else is not getting blocked, primarily the linebackers, and those guys have a better opportunity to make a lot of tackles and plays and not have people coming off to block them where it's more difficult for them to take on a block, get off a block, and make a tackle. So I think his real value is the fact that he's very difficult to block, and usually he eats up a couple blockers, and that helps the other players on the team play a lot better. Well, I think that, for all these players, they sometimes need to understand that they are constantly being evaluated in terms of what they do, how they play, how they manage issues that they have. And I think all those things affect their future. So I think, Terrence could have a very, very bright future if he makes the choices and decisions to manage himself and the kind of football player he wants to be in a positive way. I think he has a tremendous amount of potential, and he could be a very, very successful player because they do look for players like him who are difficult to block, who are good interior players that can play a special role on a team, and he can certainly do that. Well, I think Texas has a very good defense, period. They've got a very good secondary. They've got good people up front. They've got a couple good pass rushers. And I think all those things contribute to the turnovers. And I think they also have the most non-offensive touchdowns scored, which means their defense is scoring some too. And I think it's because of their pressure and not just the way the players play in the back end, but also the pressure they put on you and how it affects the quarterback up front. And I think that the challenge is that all the guys do their job well. We're going to have to protect well. We're going to have to run good routes and get open, make a good choice and decision where we distribute the ball, from the quarterback position, because turnovers will definitely have an impact on this game like they do every game.
Coach, I apologize for needing my memory refreshed, but just take me back again when Colt McCoy was in high school, what involvement you had with him, how much you recruited him. Did he come on campus at LSU? How close were you in evaluating him?
Well, we evaluated him, we recruited him. I think it was in the year that, we went to pro football, so, that recruiting all stopped in December or early January. But, we did early evaluate him. He was a guy that we thought was a very good player, and it certainly turns out that we were right in our evaluation because he is a fantastic player and certainly the best quarterback that we played against all year in terms of his ability to pass the ball, run the ball, and be an all-around performer that can hurt you in a lot of different ways. But we did have a relationship. We did recruit him, and he was going to visit our place, and we knew that it would be always a challenge. If Texas wants a guy in Texas, it's always a challenge. And so we didn't finish the process, but really thought that he was one of the highly rated guys on our board in terms of being a great quarterback prospect in college, and he certainly has proven us correct.
Coach, how similar is what Texas does offensively to what Florida did? And does facing the Tebow before facing Colt McCoy help in the preparation?
Not really. I think there are some similarities in the zone read part of it, but I think they're totally different style guys. Colt McCoy is he runs the ball because their offense demands it on occasion. He is not the focal point of running the ball a lot in their offense, but the 4 or 5 times that he runs it in a game, it's usually very effective and makes a lot of big plays doing it. He's also a very capable scrambler and scramble to throw and make plays, as well as being able to scramble and run and convert, first down. So he's a concern as a runner because of his athleticism and his ability, but the offense is not built around him running the ball all the time. They have plays where he does run it, and he does a very good job of that. This would be, in my estimation, much more of a passing team in terms of patterns, formations, the things that they try to do. And the production that they have. I think they have 4 receivers who have 40-plus catches, and Shipley has 106 or 108 or whatever he has. So, there's a lot of passes and a real consistency in terms of, their passing game and the kind of offense that they have. And, Florida really, Tebow is a runner first. He's a good quarterback and he's a good passer, but he's a runner first. And I don't think this offense is that way at all. They have a quarterback that can run and will make plays running and will make big plays running.